Welcome down here to the track in the wonderful Bahrain International Circuit. Now I have a very, very special guest with me, the wonderful Bernadette Collins, otherwise known as Bernie. Bernie, thank you so much for joining us.
Not a problem at all. It's good to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Now you are the lord of all things strategy in Aston Martin Cognizant Formula One team. I want to have a chat to you about that because, in fact, before that, how did you actually get started into the role itself?
It's a bit of an unusual journey in that I just started doing engineering and I did some performance engineering. So as you know, just sort of helping the driver get the most out of the car. And then from that, I ended up sort of evolving into a strategy role. And I've been with this team now since 2015. So sort of gradually, hopefully getting better.
You certainly are. Now, we're here at the grid, which occurs to me to be the most nervous point in time for you as a strategist. I mean, you try and plan this weekend to the best possible extent you can, but how do you go about doing that?
The grid is quite interesting because as a strategist we try and control certain things, or at least be aware of certain things. So, you know, we have an idea what the weather's going to do, hear what the wind is going to do, all this sort of thing. But this moment, it's out of our control. So whatever we've done, it's not about us. And that's the point where I feel most nervous because there's literally, from here to turn one, there's nothing I can do. So it's just wait and see what happens at the end of that corner and then you start again.
Fantastic. Well, let's jump on down towards the pit lane. Now, this is another point where I think if we strapped you to a heart rate monitor or a blood pressure monitor, this is where, when the cars come in here, this is where you're really quite nervous as well. What are you looking for as a strategist at this point in the race?
It's quite interesting you say that because a few years ago we did put heart rate monitors on us.
Did you?
And you can track the whole race and you can see where the start is and you can see how many stops we did that race because it's just like a massive spike. And you shouldn't be fit to achieve that sitting down, you know.
Did you ever overtake the driver's heart rate?
Well, I don't know that we actually overlaid the data, but it's just really interesting to see, well, that was clearly a two-start race. Yeah, this is like where we make or break our day, really. The call to come in, when we're stopping, which car we're stopping, how late we tell the driver that we're stopping, because all that information now goes to the other teams, is really crucial. And then when it comes in and the car stops in the box, and you know it's in the region of 2.5-3 seconds, it feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
Because you're watching all the cars coming around the track towards you, and you're just making sure you come out in the spot that you expect to come out. But that's down to the mechanics, it's down to the driver on his launch again from the box. There's loads of things that you can't control at that point. But you've done your best estimation to get you to that point. So it's really, one of the things that's quite interesting.
Absolutely mind-boggling. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, a glimpse into what happens here in the pit lane when Bernie is in charge. Now, we're going to head down to turn one, which is the only other point in the track during the race where Bernie's going to get her blood pressure up as well. Now, this is the point in the race where everyone has no nails left. They've bitten them all off a long time ago down the run to this corner here. We find ourselves at two interesting lines that I want to get your impression on. First of which is this lovely lock-up line that some driver has provided for us before. Something that must really trigger something in the strategy, Den.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because you sort of watch the start and you watch the run down here. And almost at that point, you know, we do a lot of data, but at that point, you know, naturally you just look at the TV. So you're just watching the TV really, trying to jostle them for position and trying to figure out when they exit this turn, what are the positions? So your start positions are only relevant for a very short period of time, and then it's who comes out first in turn one. So instantly at the exit of this corner, your strategy could be totally different. But as you say, with the lockup, you also need to look at things like flat spots. Are these tyres going to even make it the stint that you want them to do, or is that just not going to happen? There's a lot of things that go into that. So, you know, we've had many first laps, you know, famously here last year, where at the end of this lap, after these next few corners, we needed to box straight away. And that really sets the rest of your strategy in motion.
Well, thank you very much, Bernie. You can see why Aston Martin Cognizant Formula One team is in very, very safe hands with you at the helm of the strategy.